It's the weekend. Let's talk about booze. What is the healthiest way to drink? Or better question, is there a healthy way to drink? After all, alcohol is literal poison, but we do live in a society where it's a regular part of a lot of our lives, whether it's on the weekends or at social gatherings. While there's no amount of alcohol that's probably technically good for you, there are ways that you can drink cleaner. You don't want to eat organic and eat grass-fed, etc., and have a really good diet and then not even think about what you're drinking, because there are chemicals in your drinks. We're talking about weed killers, added chemicals, added sugars where you might not think they would be. Before we get into that though, like and subscribe, do me a favor, help me grow the channel. Really appreciate everyone's feedback on the video of Jen and I traveling to Mexico. That really took off nicely, so thanks for checking that out. If you haven't, I'll drop a link in the description below. Check it out, it was a really cool vacation. So that's that. Let's get into the first item on the list, seltzers. I can see why a lot of people are attracted to this fairly new phenomenon. It's light, it's refreshing, very low calorie. You feel like you're taking care of yourself when you're drinking Claws. But are you? Just like anything, look at the ingredients. Carbonated water, alcohol. I like how it just says alcohol. It doesn't really even tell you what kind. Then you start getting into the nasty stuff. Natural flavors and cane sugar. No laws while drinking Claws. How about the laws of nutrition? You'll hear a lot of people say that, the sugar is what makes the hangover worse. But the thing that really concerns me here is the natural flavors. We try to keep all the natural flavors out of our cupboard, out of our refrigerator, because natural flavors are only really natural in name. I'll give it to people who like these. The macros are great. It's only 100 calories a piece. 2 grams of carbohydrates. But you know what? I could do without the mystery meat alcohol and the natural flavors. You're probably better off just getting a glass of vodka, adding some soda water, and then adding some cherries or lime or whatever your fruit of choice is. And we'll get into vodka later and what your best choices for that are going to be. But in the meantime, get the hell out of here. Let's talk about beer. Now, the more I've read about beer, it seems like the bigger problems you're gonna have are when you start drinking the commercial beers. Take this Coors Light, for example. Most of the commercial beers you find in America are gonna have some crazy stuff in them. And according to beeradvocate.com, a lot of that is just to keep consistency over the mass amount of product they put out. You're gonna find things in it like corn syrup, flavor enhancers, and a bevy of chemicals. I guess a good counter argument you hear sometime is a lot of those chemicals really don't make it into the final product. But honestly, for a bottle of Coors Light, I don't think it's worth the risk. Sorry. I will take that risk on something like a local craft beer just for the taste or maybe just to support a local business. But if you want to go for a good beer, go for something that's non-GMO or organic. And if you want to go commercial, look, try this out. It's a Michelob Ultra Pure Gold. It's an organic beer. I had it over the weekend when we were grilling for Memorial Day. It's pretty good. And if you want a really good craft beer, Sierra Nevada and Dogfish Head have some non-GMO options. The other thing we've done around here is I've switched to buying mostly German beer. Number one, I like the taste. Number two, I love the Reinheits. That's the German beer purity law. Today's version stipulates that beer can be made with 4 ingredients. You have water, barley, hops, and yeast. In my opinion, simple beers are some of the tastiest beers. And Germany is taking steps to do away with Roundup, so that's cool. But if you're out, get yourself something like a Heineken, an Amstel Light. You could find something from Holland. That would be good. That's a lot more health conscious than a lot of your American beers. So I guess when it comes to beer, kind of like the simpler the better. And another simpler, better one, wine. Everybody thinks of wine as giving you that big headache and that big hangover, right? And it seems to be that there's a lot of disagreement among the wine community about what exactly is causing that. Is it the type of grapes? Is it the sulfates? Is it the added sugars? Because a lot of wines do add sugar in the process of making the wine. And again, like beer, a lot of it might not make its way down, but even if you get yourself something like a dry glass of Cabernet Sauvignon, you could have up to 3 grams of carbohydrate per glass. It's either pronounced Frey or Fry. I love them. They're out of California. Jen and I have been drinking their product. I think this has less than a half a gram of carbohydrates per glass. No added sulfates, all organic, and that's very important, organic when it comes to wine, because grapes are on the dirty dozen list. Basically, the dirty dozen produce items test the highest in things like pesticides, clean 15 tests the lowest. Grapes are on that dirty dozen, so make sure you're taking care of your body with a good glass of organic wine. Again, what's the use of eating organic food if you're not gonna drink organic drink? Next, whiskey. Ah, we love whiskey in this house, especially a nice glass of bourbon or something Canadian. But if you like whiskey, I've got some bad news for you. First, when it comes to whiskey, you're gonna find that most of them are made with corn, particularly, I should say, bourbon. I think by definition, it has to be more than 51% corn. And unless otherwise noted, it's likely GMO corn. Now let's talk about GMOs for a second. There's no real evidence linking GMO to being bad for you, the food itself. The problem is what's sprayed on the food. These GMO crops are often herbicide resistant, so they're heavily sprayed with things like Roundup. And the trickery of Monsanto does not end there. Roundup is also sprayed on wheat, which is also in some of these products, as well as your beers. It's sprayed on them sometimes as a desiccant. That means that at the end of the process, when they're getting ready to harvest it, they spray it on the wheat to dry it out to make it easier to harvest. Which is why you could be getting a nice big glass of Roundup when you go to pour yourself something to relax at the end of a long week. So in our house, we stick to non-GMO, and in America, there are 3 major bourbon producers from Kentucky that use non-GMO products. Number 1, Buffalo Trace, and good luck finding a bottle, and when you do, drop a comment below, let me know where it is. Number 2, Four Roses, great product, and then Wild Turkey. I like the original Wild Turkey. This is a little more expensive, rare breed version, and it's pretty good. And look, while this is not going to be completely pesticide and herbicide free, it is still a little bit better, but don't, let's be honest, you're drinking poison. The healthiest thing you can do is not have any, but if you're going to have some, you might as well take the cleanest option available to you. Now, with the next couple things I want to go over, you do run a relatively lower risk of ingesting some of these nasty chemicals. Let's start with vodka. Vodka is a very clean drinking option. You've probably heard this before, and it's true. If it's distilled from potatoes, you really don't have much to worry about. Most vodka seems to be distilled from things, though, like rye, barley, wheat. So get yourself a nice organic one if you want to avoid those GMO blues. I did steal that from somebody, and I'll drop a link below to that article. Great article. And if you have one that you really like, look it up or give them a call. For example, Tito's. Sorry, Tito's lovers. Tito's uses corn. It does not note otherwise, so it's probably GMO, which means you're probably ingesting Roundup. We drink Kettle One, which is non-GMO and smooth as hell. But also Grey Goose, Ocean, Ciroc, which is made from grapes, and Hanger One are some clean options you can find. The last thing I wanted to talk about was tequila, especially since we just got back from Mexico. Not too much to worry about with tequila if you're drinking 100% agave. If you don't see that on the bottle, you could be drinking beet sugar, corn syrup, or other additives that have been mixed in. So look for the 100% agave versions. While blue agave is a non-GMO crop, you do run the risk of some pesticide ingestion, a risk I enjoy taking from time to time. So hey, find yourself a smaller batch tequila company that's likely not to have as many pesticides. Or Mezcal, I don't know if I'm saying that right, just bought this bottle for the first time. It's organic. I am not a fan, but it is organic and sustainably grown. So if you can find something like that, you are going to be in a better position to avoid feeling nasty in the morning. That's about all we're going to go over today. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of this delicious German beer. If you liked what you saw, drop me a comment, drop me a like, hit the subscribe button, and hit the little bell icon so you see whenever I put up a new video. Again, check out our Mexico video. It was a great time. We really had fun putting that one together. Cheers, thanks for stopping by, and as always, we'll catch you next time.